Endometrial cycle or menstrual cycle. Endometrial cycle, you know that we are studying female reproductive cycle. We have studied ovarian phase of the reproductive cycle. Now we are going to talk about the endometrium of the uterus. During this whole period of 28 days, every 28 to 35 days in 90% of women, this is the time period. During this whole cycle, there is a different changes in the endometrium, along with the changes occur in the ovarian follicles or in the ovary. This ovarian cycle is matching the endometrial cycle. So if we see, the day 1 of the menstrual cycle is the first day of menstruation. This is the menstrual phase. So this is the first day, and this lies usually 4 to 5 days or 7 days. Then there is proliferative phase, the second phase, usually lies for 9 days. And then there is luteal phase, usually staying for 13 days. Fine, these are the three main phases. And if the pregnancy does not occur during this cycle, the ischemia of the walls of the endometrium of uterus occur, and then after 28 days there is the first day of menstrual cycle. So first phase is the menstrual phase or menstruation. During the menstrual phase, the day 1 is considered the day 1 of the menstrual cycle, the whole menstrual cycle. During this stage, the endometrium has started eroded, the developed endometrium has started degrading, and the material which is formed from the degradation of the wall of the endometrium of the uterus, the material goes out, and this is called the menstrual phase. Then there is the second phase, which is called the proliferative phase. Proliferative phase. It usually lies for 9 days, and there is the 2 to 3 fold increase in the thickness of the wall of the endometrium, also in the water content of the wall of the endometrium. So the proliferation means development. So the wall of the endometrium is being developed. So this is the very crucial, a very important period for making the endometrium of the uterus able to conceive the fertilized egg, that is zygote, and further pregnancy should be maintained. So the development of the endometrium is very, very important. After proliferative phase of the menstrual cycle, there is the luteal phase. The luteal phase stays for 13 days, and it is the next very, very important phase. During this phase, the glands of the uterus wall, endometrium of the uterus is being formed, so that if the ovulated ovum is being fertilized, so it should be conceived easily. It makes the wall of the endometrium more receptive for the reception or for the conception of the zygote. So luteal phase is very important. It increases the glandular structures or glandular secretions, the glycogen material from the wall of the endometrium. If you see, the ovarian cycle is in synchronization of the endometrial cycle or the menstrual cycle. The estrogen, which was released from the developing thicker folliculi, has a stimulating role in the starting development of the endometrium of the uterus. So these are the follicles that secrete the estrogen. Their development was being stimulated by the FSH, and later on FSH and LH. Then estrogen is increased due to the thicker follicular cells secretion, and this estrogen started development of the endometrium of the uterus. During the luteal phase, LH surge increased due to increased secretion from the pituitary gland, and this LH surge causes the release of the ovum or ovulation. The release of ovum from the follicle is the ovulation. Then there is the corpus luteum formation. Corpus luteum is the glandular structure that secreted progesterone, also slight amount of estrogen. This progesterone and estrogen has very important role for the development of the endometrium, and it makes it more and more receptive for the conception of the zygote. We have studied that if fertilization occur, there is the corpus luteum of pregnancy, formation of corpus luteum of pregnancy. If the pregnancy does not occur, if the fertilization does not occur, corpus luteum start degenerating and they form the corpus albicans, a white scary structure. So there is also degeneration in the formation in the development of the endometrial wall. So it is being shown here as ischemia. If fertilization does not occur, what occurs? The whole development you have studied in these phases, mainly here the spiral arteries formation, glandular formations, veins development, blood vessels development, the whole process will be reversed and there will be erosion of all these structures. Necrosis, venostasis of these structures. The venostasis is the degradation of the veins, blood vessels, and necrosis is these glandular cells degradation occurs, and this is called the ischemia. Blood vessels degenerate, spiral arteries degenerate, glands which were formed degenerate. What is the reason of all this degeneration? You can see here that when ovulation occurred, the LH and FSH hormones, which were mainly secreted from the pituitary gland, has stopped their valuable secretion. They have maintained their constant level, means they have maintained their minimum level. They have further no role in the reproductive cycle. The main role is of estrogen and progesterone. You know that estrogen was being released from the theca folliculi and also later on slightly from the corpus luteum, but mainly corpus luteum was the cause of, it was the reason of secretion of the progesterone, and progesterone was the main hormone. So collectively the progesterone and estrogens are the main hormones that were the reason, that were the cause for the development of the uterine wall or endometrial wall. So if these hormone stoppage occurs, the whole development, the whole endometrial proliferation which was being carried out will be diminished, and the developed structure will undergo necrosis, stasis, and this will lead to the menstrual phase or menstruation of the eroded material from the wall of the endometrium. So this was all about the female reproductive cycle. Hope you will understand it. If you have any query, let's ask. Thank you.